Hello! We've had a couple shifts. So, first, Mars has gone into Taurus, and Mercury has gone into Cancer. I think Mars and Taurus is the first thing to focus on. Um, where to begin? I think, okay, so a couple of things. Overall, we've entered a time period that's a lot more chill in a lot of ways, because over the last 6 weeks, we've had Mars in Aries, along with Jupiter in Aries. Also, a lot of Gemini during that period. Um, so we're in a bit more of an introspective time period. And when it comes to Mars, we're in a more of a patient time period. Of course, Mars and Taurus can influence us to lose our patience in certain ways. We'll get into that. But overall, Mars and Taurus in comparison to Mars and Aries is like patience versus impatience. So I think for all of us, there's a more settled approach to what we're seeking to accomplish, because that's one of the key themes for Mars is what are we seeking to accomplish, how do we wish to grow, what are we doing, why are we doing it, how are we doing it. So as opposed to the last 6 weeks with Mars and Aries, up until about I think it was like 3 days ago or so when Mars went into Taurus, up until those 3 days ago, that time period with Mars and Aries was now very fiery, potentially ego-filled in a positive way or a negative way. We're now in a more practical mindset, a more let's take our time, etc. Now, there is a challenge here. Mars and Taurus, as opposed to Mars and Aries, again, there's no such thing as a good or bad energy. Every energy has its pros and its cons. The pro of Mars and Aries of the 6 weeks up until 3 days ago was it was pretty easy to get stuff started. It was actually really easy to get stuff started. It was more like following through that was difficult. Now with Mars and Taurus, it's the reverse is true, where it's really easy to stick with something and to take our time with it, but to actually follow through and get stuff done. Again, think of like the ram, right? Aries energy. It's like fast, nimble, goes here, goes there, but it's not really necessarily stable in the sense of long-term movement, one direction. Whereas the bull, Taurus, is so much more stable, but it's not quite as fast, unless it gets angry or something. And then, again, we'll get into that potential. But overall, Mars and Taurus is more about the steadiness. So the key here is just getting started. If you get stuff started, it's okay if it's not as fast as in the last couple, like the last month and a half or so. It's very natural. Indeed, there's a lot of benefits to that, but we need to get moving. That's the big challenge for Mars and Taurus. Now, when it does get moving, it's like the boulder going down the hill. It gains momentum. It's incredible. And then we get into the bull charging and then power, But the big danger, danger's a little dramatic, but the big challenge with Mars and Taurus is to not get stuff started in the first place. So I think that's really good to keep in mind. Over the next couple days, we have Moon in Scorpio, and we have, again, the Mercury in Cancer as well as Sun in Cancer. So on that part of things, again, we're dealing with a lot more introverted energy, and I think for the next couple days, emotional awareness is key. This emotional awareness can be because we're in tune with our emotions, and overall we feel like we're going in a really good direction with our lives. Or if we feel like we're stuck in a rut, that's where that Mars and Taurus energy comes in, where we can realize like, oh, not only is it difficult to get things started, but I have things emotionally that are getting in the way of me being able to get things started. This is a time period where if we feel like we're not in tune with our subconscious, if we're not emotionally available for ourselves and others, the next couple days, but even the next couple weeks, offer us an opportunity, especially the next couple days, offer us a really profound opportunity to be able to go into our emotions, to heal, to empower ourselves, etc., to be able to understand and enlighten ourselves as per our emotions, especially when it comes to our past, because Sun in Cancer, Mercury Cancer is all about the past. Why do I feel this way? Let's look at my childhood. Let's look at my family. Let's question things. Let's ask ourselves questions about what am I feeling and why am I feeling it? What are the roots of this, and what needs to change for me to be able to grow forward? Now, again, the next couple of weeks, this is going to be a major theme, but even over the next couple of days, that's going to be really helpful. I think it's so important wherever you are, where you're feeling really good with your emotions, or if you're stuck in a rut and you're trying to find a way out, it's just good to be aware of your emotions. With water energy, it can be really easy to just turn off the mind and only focus on feelings. And there are certain benefits to that, but there's also significant challenge to that too, because then we can find ourselves, especially with these particular energies, especially over the next couple of days, if we get caught in a thing of rage or sadness or anything like that. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but overall, we need to always be mindful of, what is it that I'm feeling? I need to be able to put words to what I'm feeling, to be able to truly understand it, to make sure that it's something that's actually helpful, because it's all too easy, especially for the next couple of weeks and especially for the next couple of days, to just fall into emotional habits and behaviors that aren't actually in our best interest. And even if we are in a really good spot, this is a really valuable exercise to be able to understand our emotions at a whole other level. And if things are really good, then we can understand how to continue to make them good. How to, like, what's working for us, what's not working for us, and how to move forward, etc. So long story short, it's good to ask questions of our emotions, to go deeper into our emotions. And I think something that, one other thing, and again, like I was saying before, and to look at the past, as well as our relationships with females in particular in our lives, because of all this Cancer energy being a very feminine energy, and specifically, I think, our relationship to our mother and any sisters that we might have, etc. But it could also be family in general. Again, to be able to move forward, going into the past is going to be really key. I think especially for those individuals who are experiencing that rut feeling. So instead of just getting mad at the world, focus, like I was saying, ask those questions and focus on what you can do right here and right now to make your life better. Something else that's really helpful is Venus is in Gemini, so that gives us all an ability to conversate, to have really good asking questions, listening, helping other people with questions and whatnot, laughter, enjoying this time together as per conversation. And again, I think there's a key focus on the females in our lives, or it could be the feminine essence in somebody who's more of a male essence. But there is that little bit of air energy with all of this going on. So I think, again, conversation is a focal point for us to be able to grow that emotional awareness and to grow our emotional availability. I think if we're keeping all that in mind, then overall we're doing pretty solid. Again, just get things started. It's okay if you take a lot longer than usual. You just have to keep moving forward. And that's the beauty of Mars and Taurus. It's incredibly thorough. It keeps moving forward. As always, I'm doing readings info in the description of this video to be able to access all the different formats that I offer for readings. We can cover whatever you like, whether it's love life or life purpose. If you're dealing with some serious challenges or you're feeling out of it, come get a reading. If you're feeling really good and on top of things and you just want to analyze, okay, cool, how did I get to this space and how do I keep moving forward in this direction? Come get a reading. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. Peace.